like you just said, you control your own destiny now. You kind of coming in at 2 wins over Marshall would, get you that number 2 seed. What did it take to get it done game 1 here tonight?
Well, you've heard me say this many times. It's never easy to go on the road and win against anybody. This is a good Marshall team. They beat UAB in here, and Middle hits the last second shot. Well, if Texas hits last second shots to win those games, then we get them on senior night. And that's never easy. You look across the country on senior night, and you're going to ask, how does team beat this team? Emotions are so different. 1st of March, the teams are tired. You had to play that emotion, home teams. But our guys, as I said, we got some toughness, we got some maturity. We rolled the dice a little bit how we wanted to play them tonight. You'll remember they scored 15 points the first 5 minutes. Then they scored 13 the next 15 minutes that first half. We changed defenses, and very few people ever tried to zone Marshall. And we knew 2 things we didn't want to happen: pull Jamar away from basket, and our lack of depth of that bench. And we're going to choose our poison a little bit. Could they make enough threes through 40 minutes to beat us? We were going to see, and they didn't do it. But then you come down to offensive end, you got to score on the road, and that's what we were able to do. We controlled the flow of the game. Dave and Cam were both terrific. Jamar, first half, we got in the lane, got him a lot of drop-offs first half. Second half, Dave got in the lane but finished on jumpers. Getting Luke back was important to us. 6 and 5, but 30 minutes. 30 minutes of somebody having an account for him out there. Josh was big for us. Everybody had played. Bench was good. Kozart came in and gave us some good minutes in that 4-minute stretch when Jamar picked up his 3rd foul. So good team win. I got to turn around, find a way to do it again on Saturday.
That offense wasn't going really Saturday, short-handed obviously without 2 starters. Like you said, get Luke back tonight. But what do you see as maybe like the main difference there? Is it just making shots, or?
Marshall's a team that switches a lot of stuff. And first half we heard them on some switches. Jamar, finished, I think he had 12 at halftime. Most of them were dunks. Dave getting in the lane, laying it off for him. Screen action, ball screens, they'll switch. They kept switching on Dave some out there. And particularly the second half, Dave went to work on that switch. Just took advantage of some switches they were doing.
With a guy like Josh, tonight was his 141st game. That ties the program record for most games played. What does that say about him and what he's brought to this program?
I think Josh, make sure mine is, Josh probably one of the few players ever won 4 in a row in here. Check that stat out. Josh is 4 in a row, 5 out of 6 in here. So, but he's been part of 4 in a row for sure. 5 out of 6. Look, that's another stat for Zach to figure out. Josh played well for us. He got a rebound in that zone. He did a good job. Got some mismatches in transition. We thought that was an area we could hurt them some in transition, and we hurt them enough. But I think we had 49 points in the paint, and most of those are all for drives.
Kind of going back to Josh, I think his first game of his college career was here. What do you remember about that day and getting him eligible and playing?
Well, what I remember about that game is his first game he played, I think he had 16 or 18.
16.
Check that stat, 16. And it seemed like we had him down about 40 at one time. Scored 130 points, if I remember correctly. It was a wild offensive game. We were pretty good. Everything Justin Johnson and shot went in. Same way with Darius, everybody. We were just dominant offensively. But Josh, for his first game, he was really good. Johnny, first game went out, his last game. He had 18 tonight, didn't he?
16.
16. Well, his first game, 16. Last game, 16. So it's pretty good stats for him.
Kind of sticking with him, he'd been pretty consistent throughout his years, averages and stuff. His shooting percentages obviously went up over the years. It seems like he's taken a major step up this year, and both that production and his leadership role. I guess, how much have you seen that, and how much has that been helped you and been important to this team?
Well, we felt like for sure going into the season he was a much better shooter than he ever was. Had confidence in him shooting. kind of came last part of last season. We had confidence in him. If you remember in the NIT game, I think he hit 2 or 3 threes in that game. You know, we were able to spend a lot more time with him last spring. The year before, we lost all the summer working with him. All the spring, summer, because of COVID. But from where he was when he first came in here, where he's at now, shooting the basketball, at the foul line, hey, he's one of our best shooters. He's come a long way. He deserves a lot of credit for that.
You know, Jamar picked up his 3rd foul kind of early in that second half there. He had fouled out, I believe, the last 2 games before that, and had I think 2 and then 4 in the 2 games before that. It seems like you know, he's starting to pick up some more fouls. Is that a concern at all heading into this last regular season game and conference tournament moving forward?
Well, it's always a concern now. We need him out there playing. You know, the middle game we were just fighting possession by possession, and probably should have took him out when he picked up his 4th foul down there. But, you know, we didn't have as much separation there. This game, I think we were probably up 12 or so when it happened, and we were able to get some good minutes out of Isaiah. I even looked up one time, probably should have maybe got Jamar back in, but the score was kind of what it was, staying the same, and every minute I could rest Jamar, just not with the 3 fouls, just physically resting. I think it was big for him going down that stretch. It was when I think he came back in about 7.5, 8 minutes to go.
We're going to need it, right?
Yeah.